Yo! So the money is finally on Ignition Casino. If you remember, we took the change from my car from the jar. We went down to the change machine at the Food Lion and cashed it in and then deposited it in the bank and went home and put it on the poker side here. It took longer than usual, I think, to get on there, but finally, a couple days later, we have our 2566 on there, and we are ready to go. Now let's just briefly discuss exactly what I'll be playing. For cash games, we'll stick to the 5NL games, which are a $1.50 buy-in for me. Now we did previously discuss that that's only about 17 buy-ins, which is really shallow. But I think we can work with that, unless we just get into some terrible variants. We shouldn't go busto with $25. Beyond that, we're probably going to also play some sit and goes. We're going to mix it up. We're not going to just stick to strictly cash games. I think I enjoy playing tournaments and sit and goes, so I definitely want to mix some of those in while we build our bankroll here. So I'll definitely play some of these standard 9-handed games. That I've played tens of thousands of those. So I definitely know what I'm doing in those, so I feel comfortable with only about 25 buy-ins playing those. I prefer to have more like 50 buy-ins, but I think we can throw a few dollars at those and play some sessions. And these fill fast enough that I think I could probably get 3 to 4 going at one time, so it would make for a reasonably good session with a lot of hands to play. I might play some of the hyper turbos just for a shot at some point. These are 6-handed games where you get only 500 chips. I've done extremely well in these, cashing in poker points in the past, and as well as for satellites. So I have done historically really well in these, so I wouldn't mind taking a shot occasionally. Although I know there's super high variance, so I definitely don't want to like throw my whole bankroll at it in one session. So maybe just a couple here and there just for fun. And maybe some of these heads up sit and goes as well. I think those would be fun. I know they've got to be really soft. There's probably just people with $1 or $2 in their account that might be just trying to make something happen that might throw some money at these. So probably extremely soft, so definitely want to take advantage of those. And I'll treat them similarly to the other sit and goes where I just throw a few buy-ins in one session toward it. And if it works out, great. If not, I just go back to cash games. Not a big deal. Occasionally, I might play a tournament or two. I probably want to stick to $1 or less. And those are a little few and far between, I think. As you can see, there's not that many of them on here. So if the timing is right and I have the time to play one, I'll do that as well. If I did something like that, it would probably be streamed on Twitch. I plan on doing some Twitch streaming while I'm doing this. Obviously, I'll have to come up with some kind of schedule, but I'm right up against going on Thanksgiving holiday right now, so I won't be back till about a week from now. Once I get back, I'll think about it further and decide if I want to, first of all, do Twitch, which I've always wanted to. I just never really got into it more than just a couple weeks. It's just a time sink, and it's hard to get on there for 30 minutes to an hour and get a following, because by the time people figure out you're online, you've already left. So I may just do it for fun, whether anybody watches or not, and then just edit the videos down to put on YouTube. And so I think I've covered everything as far as what I'm going to play. Let's briefly discuss bankroll management. So I'm going to follow these guidelines roughly and try to stick to them. They're fairly aggressive anyway. So the goal is to try and build up as fast as possible. So we'll move up and down according to these guidelines. So 5NL, we'll play that anywhere under $50. Then we'll take a shot at 10NL, which would be a $3 buy-in, and stay at that until we either solidify at that level and move up to the next level, or until we happen to drop below $35. At that point, we would move back down. And all the way up, we'll follow that those same guidelines. And obviously the highest stakes I have in here are 1,000 NL. And I can only hope that we actually make it that high for this challenge. I would be satisfied just getting solid into 200 NL and 400 NL mixing, which are pretty much the highest stakes I've ever been a regular at. But yeah, the sky is the limit, hopefully, and let's see what happens. For sit and goes and that type of thing, we'll probably stick to something like 50 buy-ins. So once we're playing the 10 NL cash games, we'll probably still stick to something like $1 sit and goes until we get something like playing 25 NL. If we're up to like $200, we'll probably start playing the $3 sit and goes and things like that. But we'll be fairly conservative on sit and goes in tournaments. We'll focus most of our shot taking on cash games. I mean, that's supposedly my specialty, so I'll stick mostly to that. But you know, I want to mix in other games as well, stay sharp in those games, and see what happens. So if you have any comments, questions, suggestions on other things for me to do in this challenge, I'm all ears. Feel free to post it in the comments below. But yeah, we'll get back and start playing a session. Hopefully we'll get a couple in before I go on vacation, but you know, it just depends on what my real life work schedule looks like. But I definitely want to play some as soon as possible and start running this bankroll up. So, okay. I think we're ready to go, so let's get out there and play some sessions.